Welcome, friends, to another Q&A session. It's a beautiful day here in Eastern Canada, and finally, it's actually quite warm. It's not quite warm, but I can be without a jacket. That makes me smile, and soon we'll have flowers and buds on the trees. So welcome. Good to see you guys. Alessandra, good to see you. And of course, if anyone has just started, what we're doing is Q&A sessions. Anything that you want to know about editing, about cameras, lenses, I love talking about it. I love talking about photography. It's something that is really interesting because I'm blessed to have both a hobby and a career merged into one. So please take advantage of that. Also, please tell me what country or city you're from. It's always fun to see who is joining and where in the world. And also it benefits me because already I feel like I need to get on an airplane. Obviously that's not going to happen for quite some time possibly, but I love to hear from where you guys are coming from, and so does everyone else, by the way. Nick Goalkeeper, welcome. And RT Raj from India, I love my Indian friends. Kuwait, welcome. Let's see what else we have here. Hello, everybody. Soulful Lens, good to see you. Yusuf, welcome back. Jeremy, good to see you. I live in England, Pleasant Pictures Photography. And by the way, everyone who is from India, Suji Captures, let's keep hearing from where you're from. And by the way, all of the people who are scrolling here, who are part of this, all of you guys have great pictures. Now, I don't have time to scan through everyone. Cyprus, welcome. Mark McVicker, good to see you, my friend. However, I don't know if you guys have the ability to see all of the people who are on this or click on their names. Probably not, because that would take you off this Q&A. But I just want to say that all of you have such great and interesting photos. And I really value going through my Instagram feed because I get to see, if you guys follow me, I actually do check out a lot of your feeds, and I really enjoy going through them. Welcome, Costa Rica. Sanjeev, welcome. So put your question marks below in either the comment section or the question mark. By the way, that little question mark icon, I notice is really good for shorter questions. But if you have longer questions, they need to be in the comment section. Now, why is this? I don't know. All I know is that I have a hard time reading longer questions within that little question mark icon. Okay, great. So let's get to it. Jeremy on Cloud9. Hi, Mark. Do you use a screensaver on the touchscreen on the back of your camera? Jeremy, I should. It's a very good idea, but I don't. So if anyone doesn't know about that, they're DSLR or they're mirrorless. There are companies, there are third-party companies, and also possibly Nikon, Canon, Sony, Fuji do it as well, but it's usually third-party companies that will create a screen protector in the same way that they use it for your iPhone or your Android. And you can get those, and it's really helpful for anyone who is using their camera in environments that could result in a fall, i.e. your camera falls or your camera gets bashed against a tree or a rock. Street photography, adventure photography, landscape photographers, all of those, the cameras are definitely susceptible to either a knock against something hard or a fall. So yes, it's a great idea to have a screen protector, and they're not too expensive. I don't do it, but that's only because I haven't got around to it, but it's a great idea. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Shahir says, where is the jacket? And what a great question. And I'm very happy to say that it's plenty warm today. It's the first day, actually, that I've been able to be out in my backyard. And as you can see, we don't have any buds yet, but they will come after today. It's a really nice day today. I'm really happy. Okay, let's see what else we have here. This is a good one. How did you get into photography? From Pleasant Picture Photography. That was in 1997. And what happened was I was hired by my local university to go to Japan to work as English as a second language recruiter. And while I was there for 5 weeks, I took some, back then, at least my first effort at taking pictures was great. And I said, I really like this, and I'd like to try to make this my career, especially because a little bit after that, I got into the movie industry, Hollywood movies, and I was working in the movie industry as what's called a stills photographer. That would be like every movie has a normal photographer to supplement the advertising images of the actors that goes along with the actual filming. And that was in 1998, if I recall. So the movie industry got me in there, and then when the movies weren't happening as frequently, I got into advertising photography, and then I became a architectural photographer, and I still am. Great question, thank you so much. By the way, if anyone is interested, yesterday or 2 days ago in my Instagram feed there, and also I put it on my Facebook, there is a podcast interview by Kelly Lawson, and she has a great podcast, and it's all about a little bit about my history and how to take better pictures with your iPhone or Android. So if you do have a mobile device and you want to take better pictures of it, take a look at my Instagram or Facebook feed and just tap on the podcast. And by the way, you should subscribe to it because Kelly's podcast is excellent. Okay, for those who just joined, welcome. We're doing a Q&A session, and also please type what country or city you're from, because I love to hear. Okay, Mark McVicker. Hey Mark, late night here. Yes, it would be. I think you're 12 hours difference, if not 13. Going to hit the hay. I'm going to change phones. Thinking about getting the iPhone 11. Good idea. Mark, it's a brilliant idea. The iPhone 11, I can't stop using it, and I really say that the camera is leaps and bounds beyond the iPhone X. However, I really want to make it clear that I never want people to go into debt to buy the latest and greatest thing. If you have an Android that works well for you, if you have an older iPhone that works well for you, then keep it, at least until you feel that it's not serving you. And then you can upgrade. The only reason I'm saying that the iPhone 11 is amazing is because it is. And also, Mark, if you recall, by the way, I was with Mark in Japan a couple months ago. Mark, if you go back to my Instagram feed from when you and I were in Japan, all of those photos were taken with my iPhone 11, and that will show you what's possible. Good, Mark, you have to get to bed now. It's too late where you are. Okay, good to see you all. Okay, Mark, I love capturing macro images. Could you suggest a good lens for Canon? I hold the Canon 750D. Yes, so Canon has a couple macro lenses, and right off I don't remember the exact millimeter focal length that they have, but they're excellent. If they have two, both are good. Now the question is, do you get a wider macro lens or what's called a telephoto, or I guess you could say a zoomed in view, even though it's not a zoom? I would suggest, if you are trying to figure out what is the better for you, you take the version or the one that is, how would you say it? Let me back up. Let's just say that you love portraiture. I'm talking about upper body or headshot, but you don't have a good portrait lens. Then you would probably say that I'm going to get a lens, a macro lens that I can also use as a portrait lens. So then you would choose the 85, probably the 85 millimeter macro or something like that. However, maybe you are more interested in architecture or you're interested in landscapes, then you'd get a wider lens that is a macro. Now, why am I saying this? It's because you never want to have a specialized lens that you're only going to use 2 or 3 times a year. It's a waste of money. That's why you make sure that your lens they can do double duty. You can use them for macro, but you can also use them for regular photography. So you never want to duplicate. You never want a macro lens that is the exact same focal length of a lens that you already have. It's a waste of money. Okay? So I don't know what lenses you have, but I just want to make sure that whatever macro lens you get, it's unique and it's a lens you can actually use daily or almost daily for normal photography as well. Now keep in mind, everyone, that you can actually, if you want to get into macro photography cheap, you can get what's called a close-up filter. They are filters that go on the top or on the front of your lenses. They're really cheap, probably only $10, and that can sort of get you into the world of photography or macro photography for really cheap. Also, there's such things as macro, what would you call them? The name escapes me. It's a little mini lens that fits between your normal lens and your camera body. The name will come to me in a second. Okay, great question. Let's see what else we have here. Nick, goalkeeper. I'm getting into photography and videography for travel and adventure shooting. Any recommendations or ideas for a camera to do both? So if you're doing extreme work, I do tend more toward the professional Canon or Nikon. They're really well weather sealed. They're very tough. However, Fujifilm, the X-T4 is looking really good, and the X Pro 3, but I would tend more toward the Fujifilm X-T4. It's tough, it's weather sealed, and it's made for professional work. And the reason why the X-T4 may be a good option rather than the heavier professional weather sealed versions of Canon and Nikon is because that camera is, feature to feature, it's cheaper. It's really tough, it's weather sealed, and it's smaller and lighter. So if you have a big backpack because you're doing adventure photography and a lot of weight, you may be inclined to go with the Fujifilm system because the lenses are just as sharp, but they're much lighter and much smaller. Now, if you are already within the Canon and Nikon system, then all you need to do is make sure that you choose any of the models that are weather sealed, and make sure, of course, that your lenses is weather sealed as well. I use the Nikon D780 for my heavy duty stuff because it's like a brick. It's tough, but I don't use it for travel. I use my Fujifilm system for travel because it is so lightweight and really convenient. Great question. Okay, Pleasant Pictures. It's very nice here too. Isn't that great? It's so nice. In my Nikon DSLR, there are 12 focus points. Is there a way to activate all the points simultaneously, or can we activate only one at a time? Yeah, great question. So focus points are programmable, and what you would do is if you want to just go to, so you would have a single spot focus. That would be where you can tell the camera just to focus on that one little spot that you want, or you can just have the default where the camera chooses any of the 12 focus points that it thinks is wisest. Now, by default, your camera does that. It'll take all 12 and it'll look for faces, it'll look for objects that are closest to you. And that's usually like 90% of the time it's going to work well. But however, there are times when the multi-focus points is not working well, and that would be closer objects or objects that, like say for example, you're doing a macro shot. Well, the focus points are going to be a disaster. In fact, all focusing is a disaster for macro. That's why you would use manual focus. However, if you want to get really precise focus, especially if you're doing portraiture and if your camera doesn't have eye focus, then what you'd go is go into your focus section in your camera and choose single point or single spot focus, and then you can actually move that little spot around the 12 focus points to that one that you want, and that's what you should be doing. And yeah, give that a try. Okay, welcome everybody. Good to see you. Pancho S Photo Magazine, welcome. Hello from India. I love my Indian friends. MSM, hello. Kenyan photographer. Oh, that's good. The Philippines. Good night, Mark. Good to see you all. Due East, welcome back. And if you've just joined us, we're doing a Q&A session. Ask anything. And if I don't know it, I will make sure that I don't make up a question, make up an answer. Okay. Love your work, Mark. Oh, I appreciate that so much. What's your advice for getting followers and supporters? So this is a really good question. And I'll tell you that it's not easy. Like I'm at 10K now, which I like. However, it hasn't come easy for me, and I haven't bought. I have friends who are geniuses at computers, and they've created Instagram bots to cheat the system. And although that's true, it's harder and harder to do those these days because Instagram is very intelligent. I've never done that. I've always just done it legit, is giving good content. And, if you look back at my Instagram feed, every single photo almost has a corresponding benefit for the viewer. And I think I have almost 2,000 posts, and each post is, I hope, helpful to you guys. And that's the benefit that you're getting. And in turn, I get more followers. And, that's all I know how to say, is that make sure that that the world is benefited from your creative skills, and it all comes around. Other than that, I don't know too much about hashtagging structure. Well, I know how it works. You can do 30 hashtags, and I usually do that. But I must say that I'm not very strategic in that. That's something that I can do better. And otherwise, be encouraging to other people when they post, especially people who are, newer to photography. Encourage them, and that's a really good way to build that. I think it's called the virtuous cycle. That's the terminology in the social media marketing world, where you help other people and they will help you. And that's all I know with regards to getting more followers and supporters. That's a great question, by the way. Okay, Nick Goalkeeper, thanks so much. Gareth Bland, welcome. Hi, Mark. What camera backpack do you use for travels? Great question, Susie Girl 027. So I use two brands that I encourage you guys to check out. One is called Wotancraft, Wotancraft. Wotancraft are an Asian company, but they are very, very strongly tied, not in a business sense, but I do see them in Fujifilm camera stores. Fujifilm users like them a lot because they are really high quality, they're artistic, and I would say that that hipsters and artistic photographers tend more toward Fuji. Now, this is completely ridiculous because you should never choose your gear based on cool people using the gear. However, it is true that because the Fujifilms are retro and they look so cool, it seems to be the case, and hipsters and fashion-oriented photographers tend toward Wotancraft. And if I had mine here, it's actually in my house, and I don't have time to go get it. But the Wotancraft bags are really quite stunning and really tough. Now, another option that's American-made is what's it called? Waterfield Designs. And I'll get you to, if you're American, actually around the world they sell Waterfield Designs, made in San Francisco, and I think their website is sfbags.com. You could probably check that after. But these are two bags I use. They have leather options for those who love leather. They're amazing. And for those who are vegan oriented with regards to even gear or clothing, they use ballistic nylon, as far as I can tell. Excellent question. I love that. Thank you. Welcome from India, Sal. Welcome, India, Sal Abdul Halim. Excellent. Good to see you all. I'm just going to give you guys some waves. My morning Jackie. That's a great name. I thought it was my morning jacket, which. Okay. Let's scroll here. Sorry, everybody, for the scrolling. Whoa! What happened? Sorry, everybody. I just flipped I flipped the selfie camera. What's the best way to start a business? Photo shoots, etc. Pleasant pictures, yes. So you want to be multi-talented. You want to get into all genres. I believe that probably the best way and the quickest way to make money is to do weddings and family portraits. And I could be wrong. I don't know because I don't do those. However, what you want is to make sure that you start out in a genre that is recession-proof, and also that it's not at the whim of fads. Everyone will continue to get married, and families will still continue to want portraits. Now, it's true that family portraiture has taken a hit because of the